soon as we feel like it's over for us, that's when that blessing and that breakthrough comes. I didn't know what I was going to do. And once I got expelled and came home for that summer, I was doing, working. I literally got into another school 3 weeks before school started. Didn't fill out an application or nothing. Just got a call from my cousin, like, you trying to go to school? And I'm like,
Get around those obstacles and make room to create opportunities. You are listening to the Around the Way podcast. And now, your hosts, Kyle King and Kiana Williams.
Welcome to another episode of Around the Way podcast, where we help you get around your obstacles and find a way to redesign your life. We have the GOAT in the building, Mr. Real Estate himself, Javin. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me, Kyle.
Nah, for sure. So before we get into the weeds of the conversation, could you introduce yourself, tell us what you do and how you're changing lives out here?
Javin Daniels, real estate agent, also a real estate broker on my own brokerage firm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Daniels Real Estate Group. We recently, I've been in real estate for a little bit over 6 years, originally from the St. Louis, Missouri area. And my brokerage firm, we're fairly new to the game, have 7 agents under me in the past 6 months. So we've been growing fast. And
that is fast.
Yeah.
He's been growing. I be seeing his ads everywhere.
We're in the space of digital advertisement. And so we're just trying to compete with those big companies while we can. So
facts. You had some big news. What about a month ago?
Oh yeah. I just recently got engaged.
Oh, congratulations!
I love it.
Yeah, it was. That took a lot of time trying to find the perfect ring and all of that. So it was definitely a stressful situation. But once I did it, I was like,
it's over.
I could breathe a little bit. So
yes, yo, I love. I love bringing people on here because we really I know you, but it's interesting because the overall premise of our conversations on the podcast are pulling back the curtain on the business, right? And we've had, personal conversations, but we want to really know who the actual individual is, because I think a lot of times we get caught up in brands, we get caught up in, what we see on Instagram or all these different things. But we struggle with things behind the scenes. We celebrate things behind the scenes so that we can become, we're all whole people, we would want to be. So what's one thing that you don't talk about enough, but it really gives you a sense of pride?
That's a good question. I think it would be just my giving heart. You can just see pictures and stuff. Everybody's flashy and all of that type of stuff on Instagram. But I think it's my giving heart wanting other people to succeed. My agents, they can probably talk to it and speak to it more than I can. But it's my giving heart just wanting everyone to win, even if it doesn't, if it doesn't even make me look good, behind the scenes. I really like being behind the scenes. I like to just see, push other people's forward in their dreams. For sure.
And where did you, I guess, learn that? Because I feel like there's a lot of selfish people in the world, and we know that. But I feel like our whole circle is all kind of, in a sense, givers.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that, and why is it important for you to continue to uphold that?
Yeah, I think I learned it from my mom. I literally just had a conversation with her yesterday. Someone asked me for some money. And I was just like, she's like, are you going to give it to him? I was just like, yeah, thinking about doing it. And she was just like, well, just say, don't ask for it back. Just, it's not a loan. You're just giving it. Just make sure you're in the, the mindset to say it's just a gift. And she's always been that way for, all of our family, always trying to help out. We have a close knit family back home. And I think that's kind of where I got that mentality from. And then just going, from school and stuff like that. I know we kind of connected with my nonprofit that I was a part of, Kicks for the City. And it just spilled over there, just wanting to see other people happy, wanting to be able to make a change and a difference. Me, you, George, legacy is a big part of our conversations, generational wealth. So, I think it all ties into that.
I think that there's a lot of people that I'm connected with, but I really get a lot of inspiration from you, really. And I think that it's interesting because we can make a real impact on people and not be in their presence, but we don't even know that we're making an impact on those people. So I really just want to first say that you inspire me to continue to be that whole person, right? And I've seen the transition from joking Javin, which is still the same person, but to this man that has grown to now be ready to get engaged, and to this man that has built this real estate venture, and to this man that continues to get to the community. But there's something in you that you're like, there's somewhere that you're going, right? I guess, what's the why behind all of your actions?
Own, Unite, Revive, it's just to be a part of the community. My whole goal of getting into real estate, which I love real estate sales and all of that. But my whole goal was to do community development, going into underprivileged areas and being able to, create a different community, create affordable housing and things of that nature. So that's really the why. And I know it's bigger than me. I think this is a platform for me to get to that. I'm meeting all kind of great people. My agents, they have a mindset for investing in community development, and just a lot of my investors and people that I'm meeting. So I think this is kind of that layup to that big situation that we're going to be doing, within the next 5-10 years. For sure.
And I think a lot of times, George says this all the time, I'm sure you've heard it, is that we can't meet what we're not measuring, right? What does success look like for you? And how are you actively how are you actively ordering your steps in order to be able to create that?
Yeah. What does success look like to me? I mean, that's a real good question. For me personally, I just want people around me to be happy. I really want to be able to, it's not about money or anything like that. I really want to just be able to go anywhere, walk anywhere, and just be able to communicate and serve the people. I think that's
like a sense of freedom.
Yeah, that's the ultimate thing. And, DMX just passed, and it was just following his journey and things of that nature. Like, he was good anywhere he went, because he had respect and he gave respect, and people loved him, and he was here for a mission, for a reason. So that's what success ultimately means to me. Yeah, it looks like to me.
What do you think?
So I'm going to go in on personal a little bit.
Okay.
It's not scary yet.
All right.
So I know that we all change, we all go through different seasons. We talk about seasons a lot. What is one part of your identity or your story that served you in the past, but that no longer serves you?
Listen, we did not rehearse this.
We didn't rehearse it. I wrote it as you were talking. Yeah, when you talked about underprivileged communities or something like that, I got the whole service thing. And so then it just led to this.
Okay, repeat that question one more time for me.
So he can think.
Yeah, right. Give it a little time. Yeah. What's one part of your identity or your story that served you in the past, but that no longer serves you?
Just being tough, I guess. Just being the tough guy. That was my, my identity, just growing up where I, grew up from. And now it's kind of like I don't have to be that person. I can still have a good heart and things of that nature, and not just be so hardcore, kind of let people in. Like, I normally don't do, these type of things. But as I continue to transform, I have to be able to, expose myself and my lifestyle and, what I'm here to do. And so, just opening up a little bit more.
So, one more.
I feel like we're gonna be on the same page.
I wonder.
Okay.
So walk me, because you used to be tough, but now you're opening up. What happened?
That's what I was gonna do.
Right. What happened that transitioned that perspective or that belief that I do need to change, moving in a different way?
Life, age, right? My fiance, right? She's still trying to, you don't have to be so, you don't have to have that much road rage. I've had situations that I, had to just overcome, even, 18, being in college and stuff like that. And going to jail once for having a fight at a bar, being in basketball and just being transparent, and being scared, trying to be faced with a felony and then it dropped to a misdemeanor and all that type of stuff. But, that was a scary situation. Like, okay, you can't sit around here and fight and do all of those type of things. And it's just like, I think I had this quote that I saw from the Wu-Tang Clan. It was about being wise and smart. Smart people fail and do things, and then they learn from their mistakes. A wise person watches other people.
Yeah.
So it's a fool who learns from his own mistakes. It's a wise man that learns from the mistakes of others.
You said it way better than me. But that was the situation. So I started really just observing my family and the men in my family and stuff like that, seeing their mistakes and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is what I need to stay away from. I can go down that route, but it really doesn't. So just like waking up, really. And it probably happened when I was probably like 25, 26, where I really was like, okay, I have to really get on this path that I'm destined for.
I think a lot of times we fail and then we don't recognize how it really propels us forward, right? What's one failure that you've experienced that you wish you would have made sooner in your life?
I don't think I have one of those just yet. I really don't have one just yet. I mean, I got kicked out of college, my first college I ever went to, that I don't think I wanted to do that sooner. But I mean, that was one of those wake up calls. Like, people are not out here playing with us, and this is just something that I teach, the people that I mentor and all of that. Like, you only have one shot at this. And that could have been over for me. Luckily I played basketball. I had connections through my family, and I was able to get to another college. But, that could be it for the young person growing up, so especially coming from a, underprivileged inner city area. So it's just like, that was one of those things that I'm glad that I got out of. And I always try to tell that story because there's a lot of people struggling in those kind of fields, just, trying to grow up and make mistakes.
So you're engaged, you're a real estate investor, you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate broker. You're a person of impact. You're a person that's serving the community. You're a mentor. But who is Javin personally?
I'm a Leo. No, I mean, me personally, I'm just a good guy. I'm just a selfless, God-fearing, joking kind of person. I love life. I love to travel. I don't like to harp on a lot of things. My fiance, soon to be wife,
talk about her like she's your wife already. I like that.
My wife, she's like, she's just like, you never see the bad in anything, and my whole thing is like, all of this is profit. We came from nothing, if we grow it up, so it's all profit. So why do we harp and stress over the little things? This is just a fun life and a fun ride for me. So I'm just like enjoying it right now, What message
would you give to that young man that's listening to this conversation right now that may have just gotten kicked out or may have just gotten locked up or may have just, experienced something in their life that could have been that last shot? What's your advice to that kid?
Don't give up. I think you can still do it. As soon as we feel like it's over for us, that's when that blessing and that breakthrough comes. I didn't know what I was going to do. And once I got expelled and came home for that summer, I was doing, working. I literally got into another school 3 weeks before school started. Didn't fill out an application or nothing. Just got a call from my cousin, like, you trying to go to school? And I'm like,
trying to go.
Trying to go. So, I mean, for me, it's just like, never give up, always have faith, and just position yourself and center yourself around good people, that will be able to help you out when you fall short.
So talk to me about those good people, because you're connected to some really dope individuals. What would be your recommendation, or walk me through your process of getting into those circles?
Just being able to help others, right? It's not about me, it's not about what I can do for somebody else. Well, I mean, it is what I can do for somebody else. But it's not about what they can do for me. Just being like a down-to-earth type of person. Anybody I meet, it's all hugs and smiles. Even with Bakari, I haven't seen him in about a year since COVID. And it's just like, you got to hug and just give that good energy. And I think once you give good energy, people will give it back. And then it's just like, moving in the right circles, and you can't move corny out here, right? 'Cause I do hang around with some people that are, and I don't post and stuff like that. And it's just like, just being able to add your value to people and just seeing how you can help.
What are your thoughts?
I'm wondering, can I switch it up?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you will have noticed a red box in the middle of the table.
I see it.
Inside that box are questions. If you could get the box, pick one question, because Bakari was going through them.
Yeah, Bakari. Like 5 questions.
Like I said, one. And then read the question and answer it.
Let's see. Is there anyone in your life that you need to have a crucial conversation with? If so, why hasn't that conversation taken place?
That must be a yes. That's how you respond when it's a yes.
Man. Ooh, Y'all are putting that pressure. I have a few people, to be honest with you. I don't think it's anything on my part, but I think for me, I've been in the position to have to become the bigger man and be able to reach out, just because that's the life I've chosen. Would it be? I don't have to give a name.
No,
you don't have to give a name.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want.
This to be the crucial conversation starter, then.
So I think it would be one of my best friends. We haven't had that conversation yet. We kind of we fell out. Maybe about 6-7 months ago, and we just need to have a conversation about just. I need to be a bigger person to be able to really tell people how I feel and what they're doing wrong, what I think, even though it's my opinion, but it's like if you have the best interest for somebody, you just can't sit there and let them go down a rabbit hole. And I think I've done it long enough, and so I need to just kind of have that conversation. It's a tough conversation to have, to tell people what you think their flaws are and stuff, and especially if they're going to get defensive and stuff like that.
If that person was sitting right here in front of you, what would that conversation look like? What would it sound like? Because you never know what other people will get from one thing that I'll just preface it a little bit. So I used to be in that same position. And I had conversations with a lot of people over these last few months in these crucial conversations. But I used to be the person that would write it down in a journal, or write it down and then you would burn it or you would throw it away just to get it off me. Right. But I think a lot of times what these podcasts have given me the ability to do is I can communicate it, and then somebody else may hear it and it's wow, I needed that. So how would you communicate it to that person if they were sitting right here?
I think I would probably write it down, to be honest with you. I think just them reading that and keeping it, because for some reason my tone always comes off a little, I mean well by what I say, but it's kind of like my tone and things of that nature. So I think I would try to, write it down, and then maybe we can discuss it once they read it.
What would it say? What would be the contents of that message?
Just that I love them, and I've been with them since second grade, and I really want the best for them, and just how we navigate and position ourselves and put ourselves around other people that may not be the best for us, and they could mean well, but I think it's time for her to move, grow, elevate, and move on, and soar her wings. She's been holding it down for a long time, and I think she has a lot of capabilities and potential that she needs to really explore.
And why is it important for us to explore our own capabilities?
Life is short, man. Life is so short right now. We're seeing a lot of people die just from, by police and, just anything. And life is just so short, and just that thing that burns in you will never go out. So if we're blessed to live a long life, 60, 70 years old, I have cousins and stuff I wish I could have did that. This is what my passion is. Well, you got to do it because it never burns out. So I think that's the most important thing, why we should be living up to our full potential and always taking advantage of opportunities.
Would you say that you're taking advantage of yours?
I would. I feel I can go harder, but I think that's everybody, just with the perception of it. Internet, you can go on Instagram and see somebody doing it 10 times harder, or portraying that it's 10 times harder. And then it's it helps you and increases you. But I definitely think I'm in my moment right now, my season, and I'm really just trying to take full advantage of it.
I love how you said season.
I love that.
What if you could title this chapter that you're in right now in your life? What would that title be?
Ooh, man, I'm gonna do a Nipsey verse. No, I think it is just to own, right? I think I'm on the own part of it right now, and then once I get to the next chapter, that'll be unite, bringing people together, which I'm kind of there, but I'm still on that own, just trying to own everything, help other people own everything, and then we can unite and revive everything. So
along with that, what is something within yourself or within your circumstance or your situation, your life, that you're working actively to own, since that's the season you're in? That's what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Dang, repeat that.
What is something in your life, your your identity, your situation, just in general, that you're working actively to own?
Trying to be more intentional and have a relationship with God a little bit more. I think as we get successful, and just a lot of millennials, I was in a Uber in Chicago, and a guy was just like, "You millennials don't believe in church anymore." Yeah, but it was funny because I was like, "Dang, when the last time I've been to church?" And I definitely try to pray and stuff like that. But when have I really just been able to engulf myself in it? It's like when we're doing good, we don't call on them, but when we're doing bad, we call on them.
Exactly.
So being able to do that, and then also try to lead my family in the right way. My wife, she's Jewish, so of course we have different, different religions, but it's at the same time it's just being in God. I think I can always do a little bit better and always lead with that.
Talk to me about that dynamic in the household, or not specifically that dynamic in regards to religious beliefs, but talk to me about from the perspective of a business owner, of, a soon-to-be husband, of somebody that's currently in a relationship, and all of these different things. When you have two different perspectives about life, or, just in general, how do you actively communicate while accepting that other person's perspective, with also being able to not forget who you are in the core?
It really comes to maturity. One, you have to know yourself. And I feel like I'm I know myself, I know where I come from. I know just what I'm about. I know how I was built. So I do know myself. And then I really feel like it's just that communication piece. I think I'm not going to say I'm the best at communicating, but at the same time, I can have these difficult conversations because I talk to and speak to all walks of life, from homeless people, being able to relate to them, to the rich corporate person, being able to relate to them. So, I can always meet someone in the middle, and I think I'm really good at that. And I think I would tell everybody that you have to be able to meet people in the middle. I have aunts that are, it's their way or the highway. It's Christian or everybody goes to hell. And I'm just like, I really don't want to believe that. I think there's monks in Buddha and that they live way better as far as like their morals and values and stuff like that than certain Christians. And just because they're not Christian, they're going to hell. So I don't believe it. So for me, it's just, we don't lose ourselves. We keep an open communication, and we just accept each other for who we are. Before we got to this point, we had to really strongly say, hey, I'm accepting you for you, flaws and all. And once we got past that, it was okay.
So I have one more question. All right. So it's come up a few times because you refer to her as your wife, which I love that, which implies that she's a wife and y'all are not married yet. She's already a wife.
Yeah, she has the wife qualities for sure.
So my question is, how did you actively prepare yourself to be a husband? Because the assumption is you were able to recognize her as your wife because you were already a husband looking for your wife.
No, when we first got together, we were really friends before, and I've made a lot of mistakes in past relationships, and I vowed that I wouldn't make another mistake how I was making them. And so one was being transparent, right? I think I was too transparent, but I told her, pretty much everything, and see if she will accept me for me, and she did, but as a woman, she holds on to it. But it's just like, I had to do that, right? And then, as far as like really, bossing up to do what I had to do, take care of my financials, making sure, for me, it was just like, okay, I got to make sure my credit's better. I got to take care of my financials. I want to start this company. I want to do all these things. But she's been a great, role player in all of those type of things, as far as just helping me out and just seeing her, how she runs her business and stuff like that, is like, it only forces you to boss up. So, that was it, just being transparent and just wanted to take it slow and really create a friendship first. And so, we dated, we actually were friends about 8 to 9 months before we even started dating, which really helped the situation. Yeah. And then she had a child already, our little Rosie, so she already had a child. So I knew I couldn't go in with just the same mentality that I had.
For sure. For sure. That's good, man. And you talk a lot about belief as well, like belief systems, belief in yourself, owning different things that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's from a real estate perspective or just from a life perspective. What's one belief that you grew up knowing that you're still working actively to unlearn?
These boys, they get some questions. The one belief is I think the why, the situation as far as like why we're treated or why we are in certain positions and situations that we're in, the circumstances. And I'm not going to say it's all Black people, but I do feel like, it's like why they keep shooting us and all of this type of stuff. Why does this keep happening? It's kind of like I have to just focus on how can I correct it, right? How can I make a change? Why are we still asking why? And it's been 400 and something years and nothing has really changed. We've gotten certain things, but it's like, I'm trying to really break, like, how can I just be strong enough for my people to, like, let's not talk about why, let's sit down and just talk about how we can continue to evolve and get through it and just figure it out. So that's one thing that I'm continually and constantly, wanting to do.
It seems like that's really important to you, to be able to accomplish that. What happens if you don't?
I don't think I won't accomplish it. I think it's already pre-planned. I think it's already destined because it's not about me. I'm not doing it like, oh, I need this amount of money, this house and stuff like that. I'm just talking about I need to change and help my communities that I see that are underprivileged, So with that being said, I think that's already written.
When you think about the diversified responsibilities that you currently have in your life, if you could only take one of them, what would it be and why?
I think it would be the business. Unfortunately, I think it would be, that's something that I just don't think I would be able to live with myself if I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I've been having these thoughts since I was 14, 15 years old, looking at the buildings that are abandoned in my community and just like, why do they own them? Like, who owns them? Why did they have them? Why does it look like this? So I think, that will be one thing that I'm always going to be, it's going to burn deep.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think this has been great.
Nah, for sure, for sure. So my last question, right? My last question, because I'm not going to keep drilling you.
I know. I feel bad for him. Let me just slow down a little bit.
I think I'm answering them pretty good.
Definitely. When you think about a question, because, you probably talk to a lot of people all the time, like a lot of conversations, whether good or bad, right? And I think there's so many times where we answer questions because they're asked, and you're a very transparent person. I really appreciate that about you.
No, for sure.
But I think that a lot of times we're not asked the question that we have an answer to, right? So what's one question that you would like to answer, but you're just never asked?
I don't even know. I think one question that I'm never asked. That's a good one. You got me. To be honest with you, I mean, you've asked me, my why or who I am. I don't think I ever go and dive deep to like the man of, who is Javin and what makes me burn and stuff like that. Growing up with a stepdad, but not having my real father in the picture and stuff like that. And, it does play on you sometimes. So I really don't know what that question would be.
I have one more. What is one thing or one piece of information about you that if somebody were to know that, it would help them understand you better?
That's a good question.
I think it would just be, me growing up in the environment, having a loving family, but still being, right there next to underprivileged things and, crackhead and addiction and all of that type of stuff. And I say crackheads, but just seeing family members that are addicted, that's kind of why, like, I had a dream last night and I woke up and, like, hugged the wife and was just like, I love you and stuff like that, just because I had a dream about me actually having to move back home and she was still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, my failure, I never want to fail to the point where I have to go and move back home. And that's kind of what drives me to do what I have to do, is just because, like, I love home, but it's not for me, right? So I'm always trying to put that pressure on me, just like, okay, I've seen family members leave 10, 12 years and had a good career and good life. And then for whatever reason, there was something that happened and now they're back at home. Not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just like, I don't want that for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what burns me to continue to go forward, just the things I've experienced and things I've seen.
With your daughter, I'm not going to call her stepdaughter, but daughter, right?
Little Rosie. She would want me to call her Alex.
If you could give her one message that would stick with her for the rest of her life, what would that be?
Don't give up. You have everything that you need, that can get you through any tough times. She was brought up amazingly, and it's just like, continue to always have that will to win and never give up, and just know that you're going to be able to overcome anything. I always think that with me, I'm like, dang, have I really struggled? Because God he's always provided for me. And it's like, I don't think I've really struggled. If I'm missing a sale or two and then for some reason 2 people are called, it's like, I've never had to just ask for anything. I think it was always provided, and just like, stop stressing, don't stress, but just never give up. Yeah. Stress is a killer.
I got one more.
A lot of people stress.
Nah, they do.
Over nothing.
What is one of the things that you question about yourself?
I think I'm, confident and destined to do what I'm doing, but at the same time, it's just like, how big is it going to get? Am I going to be able to handle it? Am I going to be prepared for it when it really, really comes? Even having 7 agents in 6 months, it's just like,
it's a lot.
Like, okay, I don't have all the back office and stuff where I wanted to be, but it's just like, oh, you got to keep going. Every day is a new process that you're learning. So for me, it would be like, will I be able to really handle when it really comes?
What are your thoughts?
I think this is great.
Nah, literally.
I love this. I love that he's being very honest and open and transparent.
I mean, that's one thing you have to do, Yeah. I feel like when I was talking about I can go anywhere, do anything, and that's because I like to be real. And it's just like, sometimes like, why are you giving all that detail and information? But I think it's best for people to be as transparent as they can, because there's a lot of fakes out here, right? Everybody's faking. Everybody doesn't have what they think they have. And it's just like, fake it till you make it. Yeah, you can, but let's be real, And I think we have to get back to that as our culture. We have to really be real, because people are out here getting gassed up, No,
that's definitely true. Gassed up and going nowhere. Definitely. So, yeah, I think this has been such a powerful conversation. Really, as I expected. I think it says a lot for somebody that does come from a tough background, that has continued to not allow their circumstance to predict their current reality, in a sense. And you've been able to take an unfavorable environment, but use that as fuel to be able to empower other individuals. You've been able to take a lot of your tough decisions or results or outcomes of different things that you weren't necessarily proud of, to push you forward and to propel you to be powerful within our community. And you've been able to leverage the ability to continue to be transparent, real, and authentic, to activate something within you that's going to advance our world. We're here with Javin Daniels, Around the Way podcast, and we'll see you guys next episode.